3, 2. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another thrilling adventure of tons of fun. This time we have a special guest named Greco Fabulous, who has in fact made Megatron and Optimus Prime make his voicemail for him. So, he's got some clout. But we're going to risk our copyright infringement, and we're going to do the intro, and so here we go. Did I forget to click the sound? I probably forgot. I don't care. We're just going to talk through it anyway.
Woo!
Oh, there it is. Fucking A.
Do 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 do. I know my theme songs.
Yeah. I love Stargate.
Wow, wow. New bottles in there. Are you tooth hurting again? Oh, I thought you had mouthwash something in there. Oh, okay. Oh, I hate that problem.
The production value on this show is pretty impressive.
Thanks.
Oh, was that live? Oh, hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
You didn't like Mortal Kombat?
No, not at
Come
all.
on.
Should we start there?
No.
This could be the shortest guest appearance ever.
Ever. All right. So, Greco, did you enjoy Mortal Kombat? Is that what I'm hearing?
I want to say that I was entertained by it. Yes. I did not have expectations.
Yes.
Yes.
Great show.
I did not have high expectations or any really. I'm not like a crazy combat. What do they? I don't know. What do Mortal Kombat fans call themselves? Is there a combatants? Combateers?
White meat? I don't know.
So basically, I was just like, I'm gonna watch this, and that was my choice for family movie night. So
Nice choices.
me and my 8 and 6-year-old daughters really enjoyed it.
Nice.
You're right. He does fit right in.
Daddy, this is scary.
My wife's off camera going, oh God.
All right. So, Jillian, what did you do that was fantastic this week in the world of your entrepreneurship of flipping?
Oh, I got a copy of a Lego minifig, but that's beside the point. What did I do this week?
Oh, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Since last time I spoke, I got an Atari 2600
There you go.
with asteroids. Kurt, you going to buy it from me?
I wish I could.
No, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk.
Yeah, it's only half. I don't know. Anyway, I got that. I got that for dirt cheap. Half the eBay asking price, and the people that I watch on the internet, they say double or triple your money or don't bother.
Yeah.
So, and my big, like, the thing I'm the most proud of is I got a Kermit the Frog VHS, bought it for $1, sold it for $5.
Nice.
Times the amount.
Not bad.
Wow. That's pretty good, dude.
I need a cigarette after that.
Hey, Maddie, how was the dump?
Hey, Maddie. Poop okay?
Everything regular.
All right,
Everything is
so
awesome.
there you go. So, Greco, you're now on the uncomfortable part of the plane where you are between two fat guys.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have paid
And
for
both
the
of-
extra leg room.
And both of us are bigger than Kevin Smith.
And we both fart a lot. Yeah.
A lot. I'm pretty gassy.
Kirk, what'd you do this week?
He's also a little gassy.
No flipping on my part, but I managed to get a pretty good deal on my very first NECA figure, which was exciting. So I picked up the Back to the Future Ultimate Marty McFly. This is one from the first movie. So I'm excited to get this thing open and actually review it and everything like that. But I got it for $19.60 because GameStop had it for $22.99. So I price matched at Target, and then I also used a $5 gift card that I redeemed from Microsoft and got it for this. So
there you go.
Pretty accurate.
Heat the joints, Kirk, before you.
Oh
get
yeah, you
that.
were telling that. You got to
Yeah,
explain
heat the
how
joints.
to do that.
What did I do?
Nothing, Julian. He's got to heat the joints of the figure, or they'll break.
Okay, yeah. So I'll do that before.
Quality craftsmanship.
Lexington, it
I
is
also,
not the one with the fake ass wood. Sorry, but I take what I can get. Those are going for 4 times the amount I paid. So unfortunately, but no, it's the other. It's the better Atari 20. Whatever, I win.
Okay. I also got this Stanley off of Target. Only one in stock for $12.50. I actually told Jeff about this the other day.
You did,
which was pretty nice. So that was my week. It was just me searching for action figures for me to work on reviews for.
That's fantastic. Hey, Greg's here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So,
Hey,
Maddie,
Greg.
how was your week? Also, hi, Greg.
Hey, folks.
Maddie, you're muted. We can't
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
know. I was smiling.
Okay.
It was really busy. I don't know, doing a lot of different Lego projects, I guess. I found a $5 lot of Lego, but I don't know where I put it, so I don't know. It had you know that the thing from the 90s with the pump and the tubes?
Yes.
It was one of those, but no tubes. It was like the mom probably didn't realize that the tubes were Lego and threw them away, but it has all the other pieces and parts. So that was pretty cool. And did some organizing of the minifigs. So I ordered a whole bunch more of these.
Tubes you're looking for?
Yeah, the tubes. Yeah, I'm looking for those. But I ordered 9 more from Walmart because they were like $4. I think they were $3.88. They're on clearance right now. Go get it.
That's dope. All right.
That's it.
Greg, how was your week? You did an awesome Star Wars picture earlier in the this week.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's been good. Did a little bit of that. Doing a little bit of sort of rearranging because there's sort of some more stuff incoming over the next couple weeks. So pack some stuff away and making room for it so it doesn't look like I'm hoarding cats here as much as I probably am. So yeah. But that finished up a couple of diorama scatter pieces, those Greek amphora things, and sort of trying to split my time. I guess I've kind of always got like other projects on the go, and you know how it goes with all of us. Like, you start one thing and something comes up and you get distracted and suddenly you've got like 15 projects that are at like 15%. So trying to work through it.
Awesome. Well, glad you're here, Greg. So Greco Fabulous, if anybody doesn't know him, you should check him out on the YouTubes. His show is called Greco Fabulous Collecting Toy Karma, or Spidey Sense every once in a while, where he teaches you the tools of the trade, as it were. So,
any educational material is purely coincidental. It is not my intention at all.
Fantastic.
I'm pretty much there to just yell at my subscribers, and it works.
I mean, you did tell us how to watch out if we're being scammed for Transformers or not, so that was nice. You really went in depth with it, and that was really nice.
My heart did grow three sizes that day. Yes.
Well, I mean, 0 times 3 is still 0. So yeah.
Scam
Anyway.
with bootlegs and stuff.
Yeah, there was a guy advertising a Transformers G1 Superion gift set, but something did not seem right. Something did not add up, and I unraveled that mystery for sure. It was a knockoff, a bootleg, a hornswoggler.
Don't do it.
A Show Store Z special. Yes.
Do you run into that a lot, especially with Transformers, or is that like the first time that you ever was like, I shall alert the public?
Yeah, no, I think that was the first time for me. Again, I don't really look out for other people. It's more for myself, but I just felt inclined for some reason. I think now that my status has reached such an elite level that I'm getting like boxed and sealed fines, I have to be more cognizant of that stuff. So I am learning.
There you go. So tell us what a normal. Well, if we didn't have a huge pandemic and we were all under the plague rules, how would a normal like Saturday or Sunday look for you when you're on the job and you're going to look for some toys to steal from old ladies? How does that start?
So it usually starts off with my children crying because Daddy doesn't want to play with them again, and he's just getting up as early as possible and running out the door. But I didn't really sign up for this thing. It just sort of happened, but I think I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, yeah. So I really got into like there's a Sunday flea market in my area that's year round, and I was like really all about it because it was like my first reintroduction into like hunting and connecting with that like long last nostalgia that I lost long ago. Hence long lost, and things are going really well. And I have to sign off. This isn't going. I gotta go. So that's the fun part for me, just the hunting part of it, and that's what I would usually do with my Sundays. But honestly, I don't really have like a set game plan. I have my web scattered about as far as like I get alerts from like Craigslist and other like internet type of sites with estate sales and searching for those keywords that kind of alert me as they pop up. And that's where I've had my most success. Like I kind of suck at like Facebook Marketplace, and I don't really put a lot of effort into hunting in general. I'm just really lucky.
There's a lot of luck involved.
So what are some keywords that you're looking for? So you're surfing for an estate sale. Do you just skim, or do you hit the old Control F and find toy or whatever?
It's as simple as that. Just if you guys, there's these things called computers, and
tell me more.
Yeah, really, it's so there's some specific search terms that I look for. Like for me, like I'm a big Transformers guy, so there's Transformers, and then anything really in that kind of like 80s to 90s like hotspot, G.I. Joe and He-Man, and sometimes you transition between using really specific terms to really like generic terms, because a lot of times some of the best deals come from people that aren't in our bubble and in our world. So they're not putting Masters of the Universe, they're putting He-Man, or they're putting toys, or kids toys. So you gotta put some of the generic things that those old ladies that I take advantage of would probably type out if they were describing.
Everything is a Nintendo.
Exactly.
So here's a question for you though. Is that I'm looking at the Brady Bunch thing we got going here. I'm comparing my hairline and color to yours, and I'm pretty sure that nostalgia for you temporally starts about at least 15 years after mine, which would then be the Transformers, the G.I. Joe for me. So what got you looking sort of like what backwards in time to be your jam?
Well, I mean, the benefit of all my flipping success is I know a lot of great plastic surgeons.
There it is.
and Rogaine. No, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'll throw all my personal information out there. I was born in '84.
Oh fuck! So, I'm older than you.
So you were born when G1 was like
when it came out, literally when it came out. So why I love G1 Transformers so much, I don't know. Like my earliest memory.
Taste. I'm just saying. Sorry.
My earliest memory was like watching reruns on Sci-Fi Channel. So, and I feel like they played this. I feel like they just played season 4 over and over again, like the rebirth.
Wonderful!
Yeah, so it's like Headmasters and all that. So I don't know. I don't know why I am the way I am. It just feels right.
Hey, I'm the same way. It's like 80s is what I like a lot, but I was not born in the 80s. I was born in 2001. So it doesn't make sense. No one understands why. It's just a thing that I have going. So
now, understand, this makes me feel great because it basically it validates my core principles in life, that everything cool happened in the 80s. So Amen. I love to hear it, but I'm always curious as to how people found the ultimate truth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Maddie, what are you working on?
It's a mystery, but we're trying to make some art that I saw at the art museum today.
All right.
Oh.
I mean, really, for me, I think it's more like whatever gets me views and subscribers and Google AdSense dollars. I mean, I'll be whatever the people want me to be, honestly. So whatever's popular, I'm your guy.
So, say you're on a hunt and you're sniffing around and you find the golden goose, as it were. I know that you've come across a couple of the, oh God, don't hate me, but the Transformers City thing that transforms and everything else. You've come across a couple of those. Like, you even have one in box that you just like, well, better save this for like a rainy day. Is that like a hard like thing for you to flip, to be like, I don't want to get rid of this. If the other one breaks, I'll have parts, things like that. Has that ever come up at all, or?
No, I've actually been pretty. And hold on, hold on. Are you talking about like one of these guys or one of the other guys, or
either or, you asshole?
Yeah. By the way, for those of you watching on the stream that are familiar with me, this is not my house. So I'm having a sleepover, which I still do as a 36-year-old man.
Are you the big spoon or the little spoon?
Well, there's 3 of us here today.
All right.
Mayonnaise 03.
Hopefully you're the salad fork.
So I don't feel the need to like, I'm not that worried about like, I don't need backups at this point. Like, I'm okay with just having one, vying for like one complete one, and that's enough for me. As far as like trying to like recoup some of my money, then I'll hoard pieces and try to build towards something. I'm not just gonna. I think early on I was more about just like getting things in and out, and just I'll throw like a bucket of whatever out there, and then I realized like that was really stupid. So now I'm more of a patient collector in terms of the extras and just hoarding that and waiting to build something, because eventually it's been happening. So
yeah.
My God, Maddie's hands are literally coming out of your body.
That's awesome.
It looks like they are his hands. Like,
yeah,
really great.
They're playing the piano.
Wait, let me just move it. Stop moving.
Sorry.
Wait, there we go.
It's the same color shirt too. That's the part that cracks me up.
He's got little hands now.
When I did the same thing for you for several years, like toy shows, local flea markets, garage sales, all that kind of stuff, and I built up quite a bit of like 80s stuff, like masks, Centurions, Starcom, whole 9 yards kind of thing. And this one guy was really into the mask stuff, so I found him on Kijiji, which is up here. Like, it's like a peer operated trade kind of thing, right? It's like Craigslist, but without the skanky, creepy, sex trade rolled in.
I resemble that remark. Thank you.
Yeah, without the stuff that anyway.
I have my most success on Craigslist, to be honest.
Well,
meow.
Interesting.
Not to brag.
I
have a few notches in my belt.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember once this guy said, I'm willing to. I was selling some of it off and sort of like reconcentrating on other lines. So I said, yeah, come out to my place. We can do the trade. So, okay. So, I head out to his place and that. But this guy, again, he was like around 30 or so. And it's way out in the countryside, kind of like I live out of town. And I roll up to this place, 4-car garage, Maserati, indoor pool, whole 9 yards, right? And go in there, really nice guy, meet him. But the inside of his place, he had one whole, it was probably a dining room at some point, but everything, inbox, every line you could think of, like, all the stuff I was just talking about, plus Transformers, plus like this is a guy who gets like, the the blue colored Bumblebee that was released in Brazil as part of a cereal promotion, that kind of thing, right? And I mean, you know, I'm looking around, I'm just kind of like, I can't believe all this. And for him, like, you know, he was an independently wealthy guy who had sold his business at like 28, and this is all that he does now. So yeah, I mean, I find that, you know, guys like you and like, you know, at one end, like, you know, who's sort of out there in like the trenches and that, but then you get a guy like this who's operating on such a high level, you know, you rarely see these dudes, right? So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and I don't mean to like assume how he got his collection. I assumed he just kind of
threw money at it.
Yeah.
He threw money
so
at
for
it.
me, that's like, again, the fun of it is in the hunt and uncovering these treasures and like hearing the stories behind them. Like I can't, you know, I kind of laugh now when I look at like my oldest videos and I'm like, I bought this like loose like Dinobot that was like broken in half for like $25. Like what a great deal. And then like, and now I'm like, you know, I've transitioned where I'm trying to buy collections and, you know, have the hobby pay for itself and just recoup that way. And it's such a better, at least for me anyways, you know, a better approach. So I'm not just like hemorrhaging money and that it's just, you know, you can justify it a little bit more. And it's fun because you're living or you're collecting within some boundaries, right? Again, if I want to just throw my entire income at a collection, I could be over and done with. But that's not fun for me. The fun part is finding them, haggling, and I can't. And you know, here in this area, there's a decent amount of competition. So it amazes me how much there's still out there and how much people are still finding. Mm-hmm. And you know, and not just that. Like I've been lucky enough to find some sealed items and the stories behind them. Like, oh, my aunt was at KB toy stores and they were just, you know, having these on clearance and she just bought them all for some reason and threw them in the attic for 30 years, you know, it's just like, who does that? Or these are Christmas presents that we forgot to give away. Like I can't, especially now as a parent, I can't imagine like forgetting about like Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Like
it's kind of like the geek version of finding like, you know, the 1967 Mustang in the barn covered in hay, right? Like it's
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So screw that guy is basically.
Well, you know, and now in the same respect, if you're out there on the hunt and you find it for a fraction of the price, and then this guy, you know, you want to resell it, and you know good and well, this idiot's going to buy it from you. So
That's true.
That part's nice, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and the reason why I went to him because it's like what you're talking about. Like, you know, if you're lucky, you get to a point where your collection grows to the extent that now you don't really need to put any more fresh money towards it. You can just redirect, trade up, you know, and then you know the sales they fund the next, you know, flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah.
When hey, Whiskey, how's it going? Go ahead, Manny.
So, I don't know anything about Transformers, but I do have a question because I think every collector has this. What would you say was your best ultimate find? And then you have to tell me like what the heck it was because I would and then I'll Google it.
So first off, I don't have to tell you nothing. Are you?
No, you're not laughing. Keep going.
Are you saying like a singular piece or like an overall like
whatever? Like, what was the thing that you were like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened? Found this barn moment, like.
Yeah, I mean, if we're trying to relegate it to or restrict it to Transformers,
No, we don't care. It doesn't have to be Transformers.
Yeah, it's something that you collect that it
Yeah.
was like you're just like, oh my god, no one's gonna believe this.
Yeah, I mean, it came up earlier, and it's not. I didn't collect it for long because I sold it, but me finding like a sealed Castle Grayskull, I feel like was just something like I did not expect to ever happen, because there's so many things. Like, again, for something like from that era to survive and just not be open is kind of crazy for one thing. But it was at like a flea market, and it's not like I got there first and I was beating down the sellers as they were like setting up their tables and stuff. Like, it was hanging out for a while, and I went there, and I mean, the price wasn't like giving it away, but it was still like way undervalued for what it was. And so just to get there and have it just be there, and like that for me, I think was the most kind of like one of those crazy aha moments that I just never thought I would run into. Unfortunately, I'm not really a Masters of the Universe fan, so it didn't mean anything much to me from a sentimental standpoint. But the guy I sold it to seemed to be pretty happy.
Patty, what about you?
Probably getting the collection from my cousin. That and his entire Lego collection.
Hey, Demir.
Which is you guys, I showed you guys kind of the extent of it. It was like 6 or 7 giant Tupperware bins, and it was like all Star Wars, Elves, Friends, all in mint condition. Because I think, at the time I was just using the family Lego, and all that was chewed on. So getting all of that for free, like, it's amazing.
So Greco, besides you being the villain in most people's cases, do you have an arch enemy when it comes to like the hunt? Is there like always the guy that's there 5 minutes before you, and you're like, that son of a bitch?
Nobody bests Greco Fabulous. So there, like I said, even though there's a lot of hunters out there, like a lot of them are really cool guys and gals. And there is that sense of community, and it's great when people can coexist. And like I said, I do have that. You mentioned my many iterations of my channel name, but like collecting Toy Karma, it's like a legit thing. Like, even though I brag about, like you said, being the villain and blah blah blah, I do believe in Toy Karma. That if you do right by people, as far as like coexisting and trying to be fair and all that sort of thing, to a certain extent, I'm not the type to, if somebody sells me something dirt cheap, to be like, oh, I'll give you 20. Like, that's not really my style. But I do believe in that, and most people are cool and they're friends and we look out for each other. But there was one instance where I had made a deal on Facebook Marketplace, which is why one of the reasons I hate it so much is because of instances like this, where I was actually talking to the seller. He had a bunch of like Transformers and like Voltron, like Panache Place Voltron, like things I didn't have at that time that I wanted actually for myself. And it's funny, like we were like talking about how like people suck on Facebook Marketplace and nobody keeps their word, and like, oh, but we won't do that to each other, right. And so the guy, we made plans for the next day, and then all of a sudden the guy tells me that he sold it to somebody else. And I find out,
at least he told you he sold it to somebody else. I've been knocked in the dirt and they never told me, but it's sold.
That sucks.
Sorry.
Okay, so he has a shred of humanity. So
just a shred.
Yeah, but then I found out from the seller, or because, like I said, because the collecting community is pretty small. I was part of a Facebook toy group that the buyer was in. Found out it's a local guy that I know, and the way he got it was, he was told that the deal was pending, and then he offered more money, which for me, huge no.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if it's like a best offer situation, or if I was being a little like tiptoey about it, like I wasn't really committing. I get it. But if somebody says like somebody's on their way or the deal is pending, for me, I just say, if it falls through, let me know. Right. I'm not there to be like casually like, oh, but I would give you 500 for it.
Yeah.
And then so the guy, like, I kind of called him out about it behind the scenes. And, he tried to just like pin it on the seller, like, oh, your issues with the seller. And I'm like, dude, you like just mentioned that you would give him more money. Like, pretty sure you suck too. So it's, and it actually ballooned into a whole like drama thing, like, because the guy like thought I was gonna out him in the Facebook toy group, so he like outed himself, and I was a little disappointed that it was a little like of a mixed bag as far as like people's reactions, because you have some people that were like, "Oh, money talks," and BS walks, and blah blah blah. Which whatever, I get it, because they were like equating it to like buying a house, and they're like, "Well, if somebody offers more money for the house," and like it's not.
It's
really
not
a good,
the same.
not a good analogy at all.
That's not how Facebook works. God.
So that's all. It's too bad because the guy finds good stuff, and we could be looking out for each other, but he wanted to be a dink and make it all personal. And I'm pretty forgiving. So if he was like, hey man, my bad or whatever, even if he didn't mean it, I'd probably be like, okay, I love you again. I love everyone. But no, he just didn't. So literally now, I literally just walk by his tables anytime he's set up at the flea market or anywhere. And if he wants something for me, I'll sell it to him, but I'm not going to give him a deal.
At twice the price.
Yes.
So so your children torment you constantly on your videos. We've noticed that. I've noticed that. What's the wife think about all this crazy toy stuff going on?
I mean, to be fair, I do use my children as props more than anything. I mean, that's really why I had them. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't want to be a dad, but might as well use what you got, afterwards, make the best of it.
That's what got you into using being a dad. What you got?
You'll do. What were we talking about?
What does your wife think about all the toy collecting? Because Emily and I have gone a few rounds about why did you buy that? Because I want it. Yeah. So how's that work with you and the missus?
I mean, she's fine with because she's actually a collector in her own right, but not a toy collector. We've kind of switched gender norms. She buys sports memorabilia, and I buy toys. So whatever. That's why I liked her at first. I was like, oh, cool. She can play catch with me. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what I look for in a partner. I don't know about you guys, but so we each have our hobbies, and she's fine with it again as long as it's not torpedoing the family. And I think that goes along, again with my approach to collecting. I can honestly say that I have this this toy money that I just play with. I'm not pulling from my income or anything like that. I'm not taking
braces
food
for the kids.
Yeah. Oh, sorry guys. I didn't have that luxury. So,
all right, that's fair enough.
But I mean, the whole YouTube side of things, that's what she's embarrassed about. that she doesn't understand. The fact that I'm right now, talking to you guys, or that I've met you, even though I would consider some of my closest friends now people that I've met through YouTube and the comic book and collecting community.
Yeah.
We've met in person. I've stayed at their houses. No matter how I try to defend it, she just thinks it's the weirdest thing. And she's like, these people are never coming to our house.
I'm bringing you as a Transformer expert so I can get away for just a minute.
Okay.
Here you go.
Sure.
Okay.
So the right ear is that one. There you go. All right.
I don't like that he opens it with Transformer expert.
So,
Yeah, I don't like when people introduce me that way either. There's a lot of pressure.
Hey, it's okay.
It's a little
This is all
stressful.
about GoBots.
I'm in real trouble then. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know what he wants me to say, so just carry on.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
One.
Sorry,
I don't know
Mike's got a better question. I'll shut up.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know if you ever seen one of the guys. He's not too far from me, just sort of on the other side of Toronto. His name is Michael Mercy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, because he's got that sort of 80s toy museum that he's dubbed himself, right, and stuff like that. He's actually he's a really nice guy.
Okay.
And he's a little bit of a hippie and stuff, and it's all namaste and this and that and all this kind of thing. But I think his heart's in the right place. But I mean, I gotta say, the collection it's pretty spectacular. Like it's really quite something. And I mean, it's kind of cool because like I don't think he does much in the way of buying and selling. He's more like a very like he goes on the hunt for stuff, but he only hunts out like the top tier stuff. But it's always interesting to hear his take on it because whenever he talks about things, like he talks about his own experiences with the toy and what it meant to him, and usually the fiction behind it too, because that's the thing we're talking about the 80s. You can't separate the toy from the fiction that supported it, right?
Oh yeah, like the lore to them is like 90% of their charm.
Exactly.
That's what they were.
Exactly. And it's interesting too, because at the time, in order to sort of like to placate the parents, they tried to roll in a lot of these sort of moral lessons to the fiction at the same time, particularly with the He-Man, you know, G.I. Joe, all this kind of stuff, right? And then, but it's kind of interesting the effect that it's had on our generation, that sort of some of these moral lessons have been imprinted on the toys. So when you have like an Optimus Prime, it's not just a red truck that turns into a robot. It's like your TV dad, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he's the dad. He's the supportive dad.
Exactly. And
I remember I remember saluting Sergeant Slaughter during the commercial break.
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. But yeah, so I find that's always like that's sort of like on his channel. That's what he brings to it. Is he brings it's almost like an emotional quotient to the process, right? Which is kind of cool. I mean, that's
it is kind of neat.
Yeah,
it humanizes the thing.
Yes,
I guess.
Yeah, I got introduced to his channel kind of late. I was actually hanging out with another subscriber. Apparently, if I didn't have subscribers, I wouldn't have any friends. But he's a local guy, and I mean, they've all been pretty cool so far. So it's working out for me. Until I actually get murdered one day. But hopefully, I'll be filming, and that'll make for some good content. I went to his place, and he had like a really awesome setup too, and he just like had Michael Mercy's channel playing like on his like projector screen there. And I really liked his like produced videos. Like, we're gonna talk about like Series 1 Transformers or G.I. Joe or anything like that. I really appreciated his room is awesome, or his museum, and the production value that goes into it, and his little like skits and scenes that he cuts in. You can tell like he put some work into it.
And also that's his profession before he was injured on the job. So yeah, I guess it's.
Hi everybody. Nice
Bye,
meeting you guys.
Yeah,
Other children on your show.
So that was his gig. It was.
Yeah. He was in radio, television, film, and then he before he was injured in some fashion, and that's why he actually developed his YouTube channel back when YouTube was a more viable income stream before the court case, and I need to tell you guys about it, but yeah, that was his way of sort of like helping offset whatever support he was getting from workman's comp.
Okay, I will say though, I am a little petty when it comes to Mr. Mercy. I have since unsubscribed to his channel.
Oh,
yeah, bombshell.
Yeah.
Please.
Controversy.
It kind of goes with the. You were talking about his kind of like hippie persona. In some video, I forget that I was watching, he talked about to me anyways, he came off like he was saying like haggling was almost like a slap in the face. And for me, like I live for haggling, and he's like, if somebody like makes me an offer that's like, it's like disrespecting me. And I tried to like not bring up a debate in the comments, but I kind of like represent my side. I was basically like, if you can't deal with haggling, like you really shouldn't be selling. Like it's nothing personal. Like everyone's just trying to get a deal. And I've been given some ridiculous offers on things that I felt like have been like super, super awesomely priced. And you just say, no thanks. Like I'm really looking for this. And you move on, like you don't take it personally.
Yeah, the cat feels about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think he takes everything personally.
So before that comment, he would constantly Michael Mercy loves your comment. Michael Mercy loves your comment, and he did not love that comment.
Yeah.
So I was like, "F this guy, I'm out of here, you big baby."
Well, I'm a pushover when it comes to wheeling and dealing. If it's moderately a good price, I'm like, sure, I'll do it. But it's just like I'm weak.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got it. It's not my personality type. I either the whole horse trading thing. I'm like, the minute it starts, like, I'm just like, oh god, make it go away. Just give me the price. Like, I mean, I think I have my mouse button taped down on like the buy it now button. Like, I don't want to bid.
Yeah.
No, I want to buy it now.
Give me the price. Let me walk away. Let me look at the 6-month average, and we're done.
Yeah.
I like haggling. With what I've been doing with a certain Lego minifigure lately, I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. Like it's $1,000 minifigure, and they will say like, "Well, what about 300? No. What about 400? No." And then once they get to like the 6-7 range, I'm like, now we're working with it, because I don't expect to get $1,000 out of these at all. But like 600, 700, now we're cooking with gas. Like.
Now, if you trading is a bit of a different thing. Trading, I feel a little bit more comfortable with.
Yeah, trading is fine. I like trading, but when like the monetary thing like sometimes bothers me. But when it comes to like Lego, something I know really well, you're not going to get bullshit by me. But if somebody was like, "Hey, I'll give you this GoBot for that Optimus Prime still in box," oh, okay, here you go. That's like, because I don't know shit about anything. And speaking of GoBots, so Greco, you have all of them carded, don't you? Or you had all of them carded, or most of them carded from a strawberry shortcake auction that went awry.
As these things tend to happen. Yes. So actually I went to it was like an auction house nearby, which I didn't really know about at the time, and I think I just happened to start following them on Facebook, and they posted like a preview of what was going on, and there wasn't any mention of GoBots at all. They just had strawberry shortcake, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't really know anything about strawberry shortcake, but let me like test the waters in the area to see like, are there other like toy collectors? They have some value, so or it just it might be a fun night out on the town alone. So I went to check it out, and on the floor I see this like bag of literally like dozens and dozens of carded and boxed GoBots, and I'm just like, and my heart is like pounding. I'm like looking around. I was like, does anybody else see this? So I'm like frantically like thumbing through it and like doing a count and trying to get names, and this is like a couple hours before the auction were just to happen. So then I run to my car and I'm like calling my other like toy friends and like doing eBay research, because I'm not a GoBots expert. I never really like latched on to GoBots. And I was just like, oh, this looks really cool, and I just want to I want to stick around and see where this ends up. And luckily I was able to kind of capture the moment as far as like the bidding and all that stuff while it was happening on my cellular telephone, and made it into a video, and it was a pretty thrilling buy.
Well, in case of those that don't know, GoBots are basically the Kmart Transformers, in case anybody needed to know.
I'm aware.
All right. Oh, you know, Kirk?
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah. I watched the that show, The Toys That Made Us, on Netflix. Like I've watched like several episodes, so that gave me a bit of an idea of what happened. Yeah.
All right.
Just so you know, Rock Lords are not GoBots. They'll try to tell you that they are, but they're
not. Well,
okay.
I remember Rock Lords. I had Rock Lords when I was a kid. Those things were awesome. So, go ahead, Kirk.
No, I was just gonna say, like, in regards to like a lot of like the older stuff, like I would like to be able to build some sort of collection of it. It's just like I don't really know, like, I guess, like where to start, and like,
if only we had a guy that did this for a living, sort of, and he's on the show right now, and you could ask him these questions, Kirk.
So how do you go about, like, in regards to like starting, I guess, to collect like the older sort of stuff, not the more recent stuff, because that's what I'm doing at the moment. But I want to get into like older stuff. What would you say is like the best way to start doing that?
Yeah, I mean, part of it, and it might be tough again because you're kind of reaching back into history. It's not like you have the nostalgia of like, oh, I got this for Christmas one year or my birthday or whatever. Part of it is figuring out exactly what means something to you and what you want to collect. And I'm big on like putting like finishing lines to my collecting. But luckily, like I have a wide enough net where I never get bored when I'm out there, because I always want a little bit of everything, even if it's not like a complete series. So I think that's an important thing, just figuring out what you want, so you can kind of like try to attack it and look and search out for it. And then I think mentioning like some of the tools that I use, then like at that point, using those tools to try to find what you're looking for, whether it's like I said, Facebook Marketplace, which they don't have any kind of like notification system, so they're not really a great tool. It's really like hit or miss there. But like if some people use like OfferUp and those other apps, again, I like Craigslist has been good to me. But if there's like flea markets in your area, like I know yard sales haven't been a thing for a year or so, but like if yard sales start to pick up again, just getting out there and just like not being afraid to ask, like if something's not kind of like shown to you, like ask, like, oh, do you have any like toys or video games? Like that's what I do. And it's actually led to some really cool purchases, because some people like either forget about it or they're like, oh, I don't know anybody like really wants this stuff. So, and then just figuring out how you want to buy it. Again, like I said, when I started, I was just happy to find anything. So I was buying anything, but just figuring out like what approach works for you. Like, does it make you happy to just find something and buy it no matter what, or do you want to work within, a set sort of like rules or boundaries, or like get to the point where I am, where now we can kind of like the hobby like funds itself, and kind of work within in those means. But I think ultimately just find out like what you're passionate about, what you actually want.
I feel like for me,
there's also a good way to do it is to go to a toy show, like go to a vintage toy
I would
show.
like to do that one day.
Yeah, because even like if sometimes the prices can be high there, but it'll give you a wide view of what's out there, and it'll let you actually pick up stuff. Like you've seen stuff online, but sometimes online and in hand.
I feel like for me, it's like being able to be in person and like have that experience of just like seeing everything and just seeing what sort of catches my eye, and learn more about it in person rather than online. Like there's nothing wrong with online shopping. Like I don't have a problem with it, but being in person, I think it's just a much more hands-on experience that I would like to like deal with more. Like there's a thrift store not far from here. I've been in there once, but they didn't really seem to have anything that caught my eye. So maybe I might go back eventually and check it out. And just kind of start from there. Because like in regards to what you were saying, like with the hunting and all that other stuff, like that's something I would like to do rather than just, okay, I buy a figure and post a review about it. Like I don't mind doing that, but I also would like to be able to have a backstory to it and everything like that. Because that seems like more interesting, and then it gives the viewers that are watching the content more to connect with and learn about. So that's just kind of how I wanted to go about it.
Yeah, and that's my favorite type of videos to make and just experiences to have, is when I can bring people along the ride with me. Like I always feel like I'm such a disappointment when I'm like, oh, I found this awesome lot, but I literally have no proof of it. So I mean, that for me, that's the best part. And I guess you also got to, keep in mind that you might be limited depending on like what's in your area and all that sort of stuff. So like if you hit this like really hard and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to go every weekend and, go to these thrift stores and go to the yard sales, and you're just like coming up empty handed, you could easily get discouraged. So like Greg said, like if you find a toy show where there's going to be something there, at least that'll like can kind of keep the, especially if you're looking for things to be interested in, you can like you'll have that like face-to-face contact with things you might not have known that existed, or that might spark some interest in you, and then like, oh, this is something that I want to pursue and blah blah blah. Or if you just need a fix whether you come away with anything or not. That that'll be your guarantee right there. I like toy shows for what they are, but a lot of times, when I compare them to like you might not get a great deal, and for me that's hard, like a hard pill to swallow when I'm used to like buying in bulk or finding like flea market deals. Like there's a lot of times I'll go to a toy show and not buy anything. Or like I'll like visibly get upset when somebody tells me their prices. And it's like, I didn't really hide that too well. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, but and there's also like just like when you're out on the hunt in the thrift shops and the flea markets, there's certain tricks that you learn, like as you like to who you hit up, where you're going with it, the time you hit them. The toy shows are the same. Like if it's Saturday to Sunday, Saturday at 10 o'clock. The guy at the table is not giving you his best price. Sunday at 4:30, he's like, I don't want to pack this stuff up. Fire sale, let's go, right? So you can, it's all planning, and I think when you have like a professional like Greco is, I think that like you start applying all these tricks of the trade to different scenarios, which would probably get you the best price.
Who wrote my bio? Why are you guys calling me a professional? This is weird.
Well,
I mean, compared to us,
Jeff.
Yeah, this is true. So you let's talk about a bit of your collection. We've only got about 10 minutes left in the show. So you've gone from so there's been episodes where you've been like having a hard on for Ghostbusters, which I'm all about because I like Ghostbusters, not your hard on. But and then there's like random
Give it time.
Then there's random Sailor Moon stuff. So like I'm collecting this is a very wide net. So what is your favorite piece from your collection that you have still that you haven't sold off?
Oh, geez.
If it's not the Ghostbuster Firehouse, the show's over. I'm just saying right now.
I mean, we only have 10 minutes left anyways, right? Give you guys 10 minutes back in your day. What is the favorite? I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I love Transformers. And I think for me, Omega Supreme has always been one figure and character that I've always liked. Do you know who that is? Or?
I have no idea who Omega Supreme is.
Really?
Do I have?
I might know who Omega Supreme is. And I can hear Emily grinding her teeth from this room.
Oh, Jeff.
I know, man.
It's funny because we actually have one, but it's downstairs. I could have showed it to you. But he's basically like a giant, he has a few different forms. He can be like he's like a big walking like guardian robot, like towers over Optimus and all those guys. But then he also transforms into like a space shuttle and a robot that goes around like a track. Like he has like motorized, like battery operated features. And in the cartoon, he was a very like stern character. Like he talked very like in limited words. Like I think his quote is like "talk excessive, time limited." Was like one of his quotes. Like literally, like I don't know. For some reason, I just thought he was a really cool character, and the toy was awesome. And I just got one. I upgraded mine, and so now he walks, which he didn't do before, which is a big thrill. So for me, that's one that is near and dear to my heart. But yeah, as far as like having a wide taste, I think that's what, again, which is why part of this hobby is so exciting, because I'm not just focusing on one thing to the point of like obsession, and that's why I can stay, not kind of overreach behind this like code of ethics that I've set for myself, where if I see something, I don't have to overpay because there's something else I'll find for the right price, or I just have that mentality that it'll show up at some point and that'll be the right time to get it. And that's why I can work within my boundaries and not be disappointed more often than not, because I do have kind of like such a wide net. But like, again, some things I only want a few pieces from, like Captain Power. I really only care about the interactive like VHS side of that.
Captain
and maybe like
Seizure.
and then maybe like one Captain Power like carded figure, and that's it. I don't need anything else from that. Whereas Transformers, I'm like constantly shifting the line between like, up to what series do I want, or do I only want to collect characters that came in they showed up in like the G1 cartoon, or that sort of thing. But that's again just kind of goes back to finding out what means something to me and kind of reflect back on why you are collecting and looking for these things to begin with.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100%. So Julian stepped into the retro video game thing about a couple of months ago. And,
January.
January. And he's following Retro Rick's advice, and I thought it was bullshit. But then he showed me how much he's been making, and I'm like, God damn. So, like, that's a good guide if anybody wants to check out.
Yeah.
Like, start with a small budget and go from there.
Yeah, he has enough subscribers. Okay,
Yeah,
you need to shout out Retro Rick.
But let me. I just want to say this, folks. I haven't made enough money to support my family, but I have $5 into it, and I bought a pack of envelopes for $5. So I have a total of $10 in the gaming fund, and now I have over 50 games. What did we talk about? I think we said 10 different consoles that came through the thing. I got CRT TV. I got. And then all of what I'm selling, I have 99 items for sale in my eBay store. You guys can suck it.
Hey, no, I think it's
I'm
great.
having fun.
The way that Rico explained it one day was like, if I ever take this stuff more serious and I get it, like have a separate account that's your toy account, that's your buying and selling account.
Had to do that.
Then, and then go from there, because otherwise your partner, yourself, you're going to be disappointed. One of you is. And like, well, our daughters aren't going to college, but I got this awesome Ghostbuster.
Correct.
And
correct. Every once in a while, I'll break down and be like, let's have dinner out of the gaming fund. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Hey,
yeah.
The dollar menu exists for a reason. Okay.
What about like modern? So we're gonna stick to Transformers, but what about like the modern Transformers that are coming out of like the remakes of the G1, like the '86 line, and like I just saw Cheetor in the red edition today of Transformers. I like the red edition. We bought Optimus and Megatron, and I haven't looked back. I was like, these are beautiful. I love them. What do you think about that? Do you think it's good that these things are happening for the kiddos, or do you think you're just like, meh, not the same?
I mean, I'm happy. Again, I'm not one of those that type of like collector or whatever you want to call it to like, just be like, no, everything outside of G1, like I want the lore and everything that I loved about the toys from that era to like live on. So like, even though like the Michael Bay movies were like garbage, after a certain point, or even from the, I mean,
Get out.
No, listen, I love the first one when I first saw it. Like I think I might have cried. I was so happy to see a real Transformer on the screen. Looking back, the story's not that great, but the Transformers were pretty cool. And it was some of them.
Bumblebee was great. I think
Bumblebee was awesome.
Blackout was awesome. That was like, for me, the only thing of value in the whole thing, but he was cool. Like that.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah, it was.
And even the toy was cool. The rest of them looked like a bag of spanners wrapped up in baling wire, but that one was cool though.
So, I mean, I want this to live on. Like, I don't want it to just like hoard it for my time and be like, oh, remember back when? Because then nobody cares. I want people to care, from now until eternity, which I guess kind of counterproductively hurts, what I do in terms of hunting, because it just makes the prices kind of skyrocket. Well, buying it hurts. Selling is awesome. Which is the lesson of today. But as far as like my interest in them, like it has to, I don't go after like any new figure. Again, it has to like have that G1 feel for me to like care about it. And it has to be like upgraded enough where it's worth buying. Like I'm not clearing the shelves of like everything, but like I like the 86 like Grimlock. I like the Hot Rod, the Scourge, like Cyclonus, the ones like those ones that just came out, because they never really had that like G1 look and feel of like the previous toy. The previous toy releases didn't have that. So I'm happy to get one that kind of does it justice. But I don't have to buy everything, and I never really got into Beast Wars. I guess I'm missing out though, from what people tell me.
No,
Beast
I
Wars
don't,
was-
I don't know.
Beast Wars was the Transformers that I watched the most of. I was born in '82. My parents took me to see Transformers the movie, and then we had to leave because
You know.
yeah,
What happened?
Was it Robot Sex?
yeah, Optimus died. But these are the red figures that I've been talking about. That
Yep.
They look great. They don't transform.
Okay.
I put those on my Christmas list, and Santa came through.
Yeah,
But I feel like
Yeah.
if they were supposed to, if anything were to get on the chopping block, they might be it. As far as something that has like a finite.
Do you know what's weird with
interest in
those?
me.
Is that I look at those like they're non-transforming action figures. It's like the Earthrise or Siege or whatever you want to call it version of the Robot Heroes that came out in like the mid '90s. Remember the one like it was like Fall G2, I think. They actually had non-transforming Transformer action figures, but they were smaller, and they were called like I think it was the Robot Heroes line. And then
Oh.
so it's like those things are like the descendants of like those things, which is kind of stupid.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So a couple more questions, and then I promise we'll be done, Greco, because I know you got to get up early for the show tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't pay for overtime.
This is true. $50 only gets us an hour, everybody. So I'm going to ask you about Ghostbusters because every time you're on, I see the firehouse and I long for mine that's in Arizona. Have you seen the re-release of the Ecto-1 that they're doing? That's the Kenner Ecto-1 from back in the 80s.
I haven't seen it recently. What do you want to say about it?
I got one. It's coming in August. It's just I was just wondering if you were going to go for it or not because who wants to spend $250 on an Ecto-1 that is missing doors? Because I looked for an Ecto-1, a retro one from the 80s, and my toy store had one, and I was like, "All right, man, how much?" And he's like, $250. I'm like, how much do you really want? Because there's no way that's going to happen. But he was also selling an Ecto-2 for $20, which is perfectly fine and in box, but Ecto-1 was much more money, which didn't make any sense to me at all.
Okay.
No, that's not even in any reality. Or is that?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, sorry, the chat. Brick Blaze is right in the correction. Not Robot Heroes, Action Masters. That was
And you recently bought Ultron from Hasbro Pulse, is that right? Or did you take that from a grandma who got it for her grandson mistakenly?
Well, the great thing about these delivery companies is that they don't always wait for a signature. So there's a lot of porches where they just leave them there unattended.
Jesus. Bound to get lucky eventually.
You meant Unicron, I'm assuming, right?
I did because I'm not good with Transformer names.
You're such an embarrassment.
Emily knows these things. That's why I keep her around.
Wait, you're talking about like the big
Hasbro
Unicron, right?
Lab
That was
one?
like
HasLab?
That has the
oh
crowdfunding.
yeah, that
on
thing
it.
is sick. I was talking about that with a friend the other day. That thing is insane.
Yeah.
Wait, Kirk has friends?
Hold up.
Oh man, when Shartimus Prime was transforming that thing on his channel and the plates were clacking together, like it sounded like a Greek wedding at the end when they're smashing the plates. Like it was, it was painful to listen to, man. Ugh.
It was terrifying, but yeah, I'd get one. I was part of the crowd. My regret is not buying two because then I would probably have mine for free, which is nice for what they're reselling for now. But at the time, sitting on like $610 or double that because you bought one for yourself for a year and a half was kind of a lot to ask.
Yeah, that's
A lot.
Yeah. But it's awesome. I did transform it, and it's kind of like just sitting on my bedroom floor right now because I have nowhere to put it because it doesn't fit anywhere. So yeah, it's totally worth it.
That's awesome. So this is it. So my sister's in the chat. She's transitioning right now, and I would just like to know everyone's opinion. Her name is Lex, but she has the option of renaming herself to Luxwana from Star Trek. That's a lady name. She's a lady. Thoughts?
I wish I could say something, but I haven't seen Star Trek yet. I added every single thing on Netflix into my watch list so I can start.
Constant disappointment, Kirk.
I'm going to start. I added all of them to my watch list. All of them to my watch list on Netflix so I can start. But yeah.
It depends how much the character gets under your nerves.
Well, I mean, she's basically, all the time. Like every day, at least once. Lex is making me pull my hair out. So I think it's a cool change too. I'm very proud of her. I just want her name to be Luxana so I can just like mess with her. But
it's actually a cool name. It's a really cool name. Yeah.
How is the character though? Like, is that a good thing to be associated? Or
Lex is nothing like Counselor Troy at all. Complete opposite.
But she would be her mother, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's more like her mom. Yeah. Definitely more like that.
Because that's that's Roddenberry's wife, right? Who plays?
Yeah. That was that was her.
Yeah.
So all right. So apparently she's going to fight me too, but that's fine because you're a girl and you're much weaker than men. So all right.
Yeah, that's how this works.
Here.
All right. So from everybody at the Pink Bucket Nation, which is my buddies Julian Charity stuff, and from Tons of Fun, wear a mask. Trans rights are human rights, and thank you again, Greco, for coming to visit with us tonight.
That guy.
I appreciate it.
Like, comment, and follow that guy.
That guy, exactly. Maddie, how did your art experiment
let's beat Retro Rick together.
And now she's and Greco's got the dance moves.
Like the hand jive.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Be safe.